Utility analysis, the law of diminishing marginal utility. In this topic, we are going to learn about what we mean by utility and different approaches to utility which explains about the consumer behavior. And what do you mean by cardinal utility and ordinal utility? And finally, it is going to discuss about law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of table, diagram, limitations and importance of the theory. Also, we discuss about the meaning of marginal utility. First of all, we'll know what we mean by what are the features of utility. So, utility is a subjective. It means it deals with the mental satisfaction of a human being. It's purely subjective in the nature. It depends upon the heart. One person's satisfaction maybe differs than the other. So it is a purely subjective, psychological in nature. Utility also is relative. It is not remain the same to all one. It depends upon one person to other person. Maybe we will discuss one example. Cooler has utility in the summer but not during the winter. So air cooler is required during the summer. So but the same utility we cannot find the winter season. So that is differs. Utility is essentially is not useful. Maybe some harmful goods, example liquor, cigarette, which is not useful, but the person who addict for this, the person would going to get utility out of it. Utility is independent of morality. Utility has not do with morality. There is no good and bad. The only thing is that whether consumption of a good or services, they would going to receive satisfaction or utility. So that is the matter, ultimate matter. Now we'll discuss another important topic, that is cardinal and ordinal utility. Cardinal, the very two letters explains about calculation of the utility. The numbers 1, 2, 3 are cardinal numbers. So here the number 2 is twice the size of 1. In the same way, the number 4 is 4 times the size of 1. So Alfred Marshall developed cardinal utility analysis in law of diminishing marginal utility. According to cardinal utility approaches, utility can be measured in terms of numbers, that is 1, 2, 3 like that. By criticizing Alfred Marshall, Hicks-Allen, they gave another approach, that is a ordinal approach. Ordinal approaches, that is numbers first, second, third and fourth are the ordinal numbers. These ordinal numbers are ranked or ordered. This ranking does not explain the actual size relation of the numbers, but there is a ranking first, second, third and fourth. So these are popular. Now we'll discuss the important topic, that is theory in detail, the law of diminishing marginality, marginal utility. It is a psychological fact that when a person acquires more and more units of the same commodity during a particular time, the utility he derives from the successive unit will diminish. In other words, the additional satisfaction derived from the additional unit, additional here is nothing but marginal unit, of a commodity goes on decreases. That is a fact. H.S. Goosen was the first economist to explain the law of diminishing marginal utility and the law of equimarginal utility in 1854. W.S. Jevons named them as Goosen's first and second law of consumption in 1871. Based on this, in 1890, Marshall, in his Principles of Economics, developed this theory and he refined manner and said the law of diminishing marginal utility. Let us see the definitions. Alfred Marshall defines the law of diminishing marginal utility as the additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase of his stock of a thing diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. In other words, according to K. Boulding, as a consumer increases the consumption of any one commodity, keeping constant the consumption of all other commodity, the marginal utility of the variable commodity must eventually decline. In simple meaning, we can say, if a consumer increases a consumption of any particular good, keeping the constant of other goods, the marginal utility derived by him from additional goods goes on declines. So that is the meaning. Other thing, in simple I can say like this, other things keeping constant, any one particular commodity consuming one after the other without time gap, the marginal, that is additional utility, eventually declines. That is the law. And what is the other thing constant? So other thing constant here, it means the important condition where it applies. So what is the conditions? It is also called as the assumptions. So utility can be measured in the cardinal numbers. So here, of course, utility cannot be measured in cardinal numbers, but still our assumption, our condition is that we can measure in numerical numbers, that is 1, 2, and 3. The marginal utility of money is remain constant. Marginal utility of every commodity is independent, that is an additional commodity. Every unit of the commodity being used is of same quality and the size, and of course there is a standard in quantity, and there should be continuous consumption of the commodity without time gap, and there is no change in the income of the consumer, price of the commodity and its substitute. In simple I can say income, price and its substitute should remain constant. If it is not constant, then theory is not works. There is no change in the taste, character, fashion and habit of the consumer. Or else, in simple you can say taste, fashion, habit and character in the given time should be remain constant. Based on this assumption, theory can be explained with the help of table. Here in the table units, maybe here we'll discuss about number of glasses a person is consuming. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The number of units are 6 units of glasses consuming, and total units, first consumption of unit of glass, he would going to get 12 units of satisfaction. And the second he would going to derive, that is 18. What is the difference between first unit of glass and second unit of glass? That is a 6. So that is the addition of one more units is a 6. So that is additional utility or marginal utility. And third unit consuming would going to receive 22 units of total utility. The difference between second and third, it is a 4. As they keep on consuming one after the other without time gap, marginal utility eventually declines. At the fifth unit, the total utility is maximum, that is a 24, and the marginal utility is 0. And sixth unit, the total utility declines, that is a 22nd, and the marginal utility, it become -2. So what is the difference between marginal utility and total utility? So total satisfaction obtained from the consumption of all possible units. Here 6 units. So that is called as a total utility, and the marginal utility derived from the consumption of additional unit. So first to second, second to third and third to fourth. What is the additional unit of each unit consumed? That is called as a marginal unit. The total utility increases if you are consuming one after the other more and more. What about marginal? It will declines. As more and more goods are consuming, so utility will be declines. Here is a expression mathematical formula. Total utility equals U1 plus U2 plus U3 continuation utility of N. Marginal utility expressed as mu equals tun minus tun minus 1. After total utility reach maximum, it does not rise. Further, it started falling. That in table we discuss about 24, later on it started falling, that is at 22nd. If you consume more, then again total utility will declines. What about marginal utility? It will continuously declines. It becomes 0 and later on it become negative. In this diagram, we'll discuss about the highest utility 24. When the total utility is the highest 24, marginal utility it is of 0, and when total utility is of 22nd, marginal utility become minus 2. So total utility, that is a total utility curve, it is increasing up to 24, then it is declines. Marginal utility from the beginning it started decline. It is reaches minimum, then later on it declares the negatives. What about exceptions? Of course, the theory is good, nice. And what are the exceptions? What are the limitations of this theory? So there are certain limitations are there. Of course, based on assumption, we can limit of this theory. Apart of that, there are some more limitations for this theory. There's a curious and rare things. When something which is very pure, example, coins, post stamps, and certain things which you keep on collecting, according to this theory, should be decrease the satisfaction. But here, instead of decreasing, it will increases the satisfaction for collection of rare postage stamps, coins, and other things, which is very curiosity. In this time, the utility will be keep on increases. Miser. For a miser, as a more and more money he acquires, his satisfaction cannot be decreased. Instead, it will increase for misers. So some good book or poem, people are fortunate for reading certain good books and maybe poems and beautiful songs. So melodious songs that will give more satisfaction. According to theory, as more and more he can hear, satisfaction should be decreased. But instead, it will increase as people are very much interested of that one. And of course, for drunkards, when a drunkard has a more and more intaking of pegs of liquor, so its satisfaction will increases and it is not decreasing. What are the importance of the law? So basis of law, other theory also developed, that is a law of equimarginal utility, law of demand, consumer, that is concept of consumer surplus. So here also we discuss about variety in production and consumption. So as we know that only one product keep on consumes, so utility will be decreased. In that case, so people and producers started to producing variety of products to satisfy a consumer. So based on this, government also levying progressive taxation, that is indirect taxes. As a more income people gives lesser satisfaction and less income people more satisfaction. In that case, government levying high taxes, high income group. And it is advantage to the consumer. Due to law of diminishing marginal utility, a consumer always buys till the point where price is equals to marginal utility, that is additional utility. So he's always make an advantage or kind of calculation. So he also discuss about difference between value in use and value in exchange. So based on this theory, we can also fix the price for product, or else we can say price determination also possible with the help of this theory. So based on this law, government also making a decision, that is a redistribution theory. So these are all certain importance, and this is for second PU examination point of view. This theory is very important and definitely would going to get 100% of any one point of this theory. Thank you.